then certainly the United States had the right to take an action against Osama bin Laden, and anyone providing refuge to Osama bin Laden is responsible for it. But Pakistan is not the one that has provided refuge to Osama bin Laden. I must make it very clear. Pakistan did not know his presence because of so many disillusionment in the whole case, because of so many confusions in the whole case. Pakistan would not know if the airstrikes are done by the friendly forces or by the enemy forces. If the air action is being taken by the friendly forces or by the enemy forces, Pakistan would not know about it. And had this been known to the Karzai administration had the resources and had the support to take an action at that time in 2005, and why was that elapsed for so many years? Now coming to the next question, dear viewers, do you feel, Colonel Zafar, that ISI, the Pakistan's lead intelligence agency, is somewhere deficient in its action?
Well, failure is not so uncommon in intelligence agencies. They keep on failing everywhere. It's not a new thing. You know, for
Absolutely.
example,
If 9/11
in our own case, in 1965, a whole armored division was marched out of place in central India to Sialkot front without us knowing it, and it was just lucky that we got hold of a DR,
I think you're
dispatch
very
rider.
right, and our viewers will agree on that, that if ISI would not know about that, the CIA also did not know the 9/11 thing. The
That's
FBI
true.
did not know 9/11. That does not mean that the CIA chief had to resign because of 9/11. That does not mean that the FBI chief had to resign because of 9/11. And I don't think so it is a right statement on behalf of the politicians in Pakistan to compel the ISI leadership to resign or to come to task. That's absolutely rubbish. This has never happened in any international case. And dear viewers, we'll take a break here and we'll come back after a commercial break. Thank you.
फ्रेश और जूसी ऑरेंज शेकर सनसिप ने है इसे बनाया सनसिप का ठंडा ऑरेंज सनसिप ठंडा ऑरेंज पीकर सभी फ्रेश और हेल्दी रहते पियो ठंडा इन एवरी सीजन पियो ठंडा for any reason सनसिप ठंडा ऑरेंज पीकर सभी फौरन फ्रेश हो जाते
सनसिप ठंडा ऑरेंज
चैलेंज का बड़ा मजा
उससे बड़ा देख एप्पल का मजा
तू बदल गया सजना हसी नहीं तेरे वांग बदले
Watch Shazia Manzoor live on Love Indicator tonight at 10:45 p.m. only on Vibe.
My friends say I'm a fool to think that you're the one for me. I guess I'm just a sucker for love. 'Cause honestly, the truth is that you know I'm never leaving. 'Cause you're my angel. ताजा ताजा लींबू का रस बना है जिससे लींबू पानी
सनसिप का ये लींबू पानी थकन को फौरन दूर भगाए
इनकी हरदम फ्रेशनेस का राज है सनसिप लींबू पानी
ओ पियो पियो लींबू पानी ओ पियो पियो
Welcome back after break, and dear viewers, we were discussing the intelligence failures, and in particular reference to the intelligence failure on the part of Pakistan's ISI. But let me tell you something here, viewers. The Security Council resolution that was brought against the Saddam Hussein's regime in Iraq was based on some information that was shown by General Colin Powell as Secretary of State to the United Nations Security Council. And what he showed was the presence of nukes in Iraq, and that became the basis of the resolution to taken action against Iraqi regime. Subsequently, after Colin Powell got off from the job, now in the recent few months, he said that it was a lack of intelligence, wrong information, and wrong-fed information that led to an action in Iraq. Now again, looking to a second aspect, Iran processed nuclear weapons, nukes in Iran, and our intelligence agencies around the world, or the intelligence agencies internationally, would not know what Iran is doing. So, is this a failure on the part of intelligence or American intelligence, what happened in Iran? Is this a failure on the part of American intelligence, what happened in Iraq? Is it a failure of American intelligence, what happened in 9/11? No, these things do happen. If one knows the dynamics of intelligence agencies, would know that this is not something unusual. Yes, it should not have been like that, that someone hiding a mastermind of 9/11 for whom a lot of money was spent to capture him was somewhere in the vicinity of the Pakistan's main military academy in Abbottabad. This is not a good omen, but that does not mean that it's a failure on the part of ISI. It is the ISI that has worked together with the CIA for years. ISI worked in Afghanistan in getting rid of the Russian forces, the Soviet Union's expansionist designs. It is the ISI that worked hand to hand in doing so many efforts in getting rid of the communist expansionist designs in those days. Years of friendship, years of relationship. How can that relationship be destroyed by a single incident? In this incident after 9/11, we have seen ISI working together with the CIA in capturing big targets. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, all other big names, you name it, were captured by the Pakistani CIA and by the Pakistani ISI, and the CIA and ISI worked very closely throughout these days post 9/11, pre 9/11, and how can this relationship be broken? Dear viewers, what we see, is there some other interest involved here to break up the relationship between the CIA and ISI? What do you think, Peter? Is there some vested interest involved that wants to see Pakistan breaking up relationship or getting a strained relationship with the United States?
well,
Even people within Pakistan or in the United States who have been indoctrinated in a way that this should break up, this is not a good relationship. Is that a factor?
Well, there are 9 different Pakistans that I know of. And of course, will the real Pakistan stand up as part of an ages-old change that's occurring as a result of RT? You must recall, of course, that the CIA did know about the 9/11 attacks, but did not process it. And similarly, the ISI needs to look at what it's got to do, not blame people. Look and see what it's got to do, because it's got the advantage.
Are there people in their ranks who may not be so
That's possible.
receptive to the
There have
policies?
been spies in the CIA as well.
Yes.
But the point is that they've got the great advantage of feet on the ground. CIA intelligence failed because of long communication lines and a lack of people
So many
on the
odds
ground.
here, yes.
So what they've got to do is the ISI, just as the CIA did, looked and said, what did we do wrong? How can we do it better? And that, to me, is what has to be done.
So what you assume is that the relationship between the CIA, which is a long association with the ISI, should not break up with this single event.
Of course not.
This should not become a basis to break
This
up a
is a
relationship
lover's
or make.
tiff.
Yes, And things like this do happen in intelligence
indeed.
agencies' warfare game.
Right.
What do you think,
but
Zafar?
there
You
is
yourself the army as well, and you have been a person of the armed forces yourself. How do you look at things? There are errors. It's not a perfection anywhere. So there could be an error. Of course, it's a big error. We don't deny that fact. But that could happen.
Well, recently, if you look at the events, then slowly an element of distrust has crept in, which is by itself maybe of a very small.
No, let's stay here. Element of distrust, dear viewers,
see, for
is
example,
a huge statement. Why would there be an element of distrust when the CIA and ISI have had been working for over 30 years very closely in the region since the
that's what
invasion
I-
of Afghanistan?
You see, for example,
Just one single incident of-
continuation of drone attacks, for example, often without the, well, as far as we know, often without the knowledge, often without clearance from Pakistan. That is one. And the other is this very recently, the Raymond Davis case. This has also come up to exacerbate the circumstances. And then they have coming up
No, on the
very
Raymond Davis case, if I look to things with American eye, and if I have to defend this as an American, I would say that they needed to keep people on ground, and that is where they got Osama bin Laden, and that justifies the presence of Raymond Davis. Technically, I'm not saying it was right.
Yeah.
But technical presence of American intelligence
precisely.
has been justified by the action that has been taken. On
what
Osama
I
bin
am
Laden.
saying
whether
is-
we like it or we don't like it.
But then we
the
have to
reality of the
come
matter
clean.
is
This is what I'm saying. The distrust comes when the parties do not sort of totally come clean with each other.
I
That is my.
think what I would give my input here is, yes, drone attacks are not acceptable, dear viewers, to the people in Pakistan. Why? Because innocent lives are lost. It is not in the interest of American diplomacy. It is not in the interest American Muslim engagement program, in the Muslim outreach program of the United States Department of State, that we should create an image of the United States where innocent lives are lost. Now, what targets are here for America is getting hold of Ayman Zawahiri, the next man in command of the Al-Qaeda, and breaking up the myth of Al-Qaeda and the ranks and files of Al-Qaeda. That is justified. But that justification does not mean that human lives are lost here. Would not justify that, would not create a congenial atmosphere. And that distrust, yes, I would agree with Colonel Zafar, is there. The drone attacks should be stopped. Again, now, on the presence of American presence on ground, this is justified by what action has been taken on Osama bin Laden. Pakistan has to prove otherwise, that yes, the American presence is not needed. We can provide you the big targets here in this country who are responsible for disrupting American economy, by damaging American economy, by damaging American life. And American administration has to take care of the American life anyway. That's the national security interest of the United States. And as long as the national security interest of Pakistan is concerned, certainly we are concerned with the drone attacks. Now, how do we get into that? How do we coordinate?
If I may add, sir, here in what you're saying, you see, we are allies. United States and Pakistan are allies in the war against terror in this region.
And how do you remove the distrust amongst the allies?
Therefore, that's what I'm saying.
How would you get rid of the distrust that has been created in the last few months?
We have to come clean. We have to come
How do
clean
you
with
come
each
clean?
other. Well, for example, recently a perception has come to exist that the goings on between, or the issues are discussed on a day-to-day basis, and Pakistan puts its shall we say emphasis on cooperation in the sense of giving more aid and giving more equipment, and they put it elsewhere. They say, what are the results?
Let's
Now-
stay there. Let's stay there on the AIDS.
So therefore-
I would like to give one input on the AIDS. There are a lot of voices coming out of the United States policymakers that AIDS should be stopped to Pakistan because the highest profile target on this 9/11 case, the mastermind Osama bin Laden was not noticed by the Pakistani intelligence agencies for the last so many years with his presence in Abbottabad. I would say one thing here, that the American policymakers do have to understand one thing, and that is Pakistan has provided, let's assume,